Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. Um, so, I hope everyone is doing well and that you guys are taking in all this information and that it's uplifting you and helping you. And I know that you have good days and then you have some not so good days. And I understand that as well because you know, have those days myself, even now. But I try to get through it by finding some things to do that I like. Find things that you really enjoy and take the time to engage in that. Because when you do that, that's going to take your mind off of the grief and it's going to engage you mentally into a project, whether it's putting together a puzzle, whether it's creating or developing your favorite playlist, or like what I do too, guys. What I love doing is being Facebook has these groups that I enjoy being on. Like they have one with Trivial. It's a trivial game where they ask questions about music from the 70s and 80s and like what's your favorite artist, etc., and so forth. And I like that. And I also belong to one of these groups, the Waltons, because I grew up watching the Waltons as a kid. I can remember them coming on ever since I was about 7 years old. And before bed at night, I used to watch them and they would say, "Good night, John Boy," etc. And I never seen all the episodes, but I've been recording them and it's like, wow, really, really cool. I'm going to tell you guys something before we get into the topic of discussion. So the other night, because I love the DVR because when I have time, I can sit down and watch an episode of The Waltons because a lot of them I realized I didn't watch, I haven't seen. So this particular one the other night was called The Literary Man. If you guys comment, let me know if you watched that. I've never seen that. But John Boy is a writer and he had a flat tire on the road or something. Or I don't think it was a flat tire. I think the car just cut off on him and he ran into this guy carrying a briefcase, and the guy helped him and he took him home, introduced him to his family. So, to make a long story short, John Boy found out that this guy was a writer like himself. However, he didn't pursue it. He told stories of his writings, but he never pursued becoming a published author. So, he helped the family. They do lumber to make money so that they can pay their bills. He helped them out, etc. Um, and he really encouraged John Boy to move forward with his writing. And he told the story in the Waltons because all these stories in the Waltons is based on real life. And so at the end of the story, because I don't want to give it all away, the man left. At first, they thought he was going to stay and settle in the mountains, but he left a note, and they had lost the contract or something happened, and well, I'm not going to even get into that. I'm just going to say in the note, John Boy was upset because he left, and the guy he did something really nice for the family, really just that would bring tears to your eyes. And John Boy was upset that he was gone. And at the end, you know how the narrator talks about what happens, you know, um, after the fact? Well, John Boy never saw this guy again, but the guy made an impression on him so much so that he continued to become a writer, and as everyone know, a famous one. So I was looking at that and going through it, and I said, "Oh my God, he never heard from the guy again. Never knew what happened to him." And I said, sometimes, whether people believe this or not, sometimes an angel can come on our path and to put us on the right path, direction in life. And we don't even know that these people are angels, right? and then they're gone from our life and we never see them again. That's what I got from that episode. And because I watched it, I said, oh my God, I think this man was an angel of some sort. Never saw him again, never heard from him again. But the message and the help that he gave them lasts forever and made a huge impression on his life. So I'm saying all of this because sometimes when we are going through trials and tribulation and we feel overwhelmed and we don't know what direction to turn, sometimes God will put somebody on our path, usually a stranger, to encourage us on a, to get back on a right path again. And then we look around, that person is no longer here. Where did they go? But sometimes God put people there to help us. And when we get on that right path, they go their merry way, and that's what I got from that story, and that is true in life. We meet people sometimes and people can inspire us and uplift us and encourage us, especially during our most difficult times in life. And I'm going to tell you this before we go into the topic of discussion. Um, One of somebody who also during the shutdown meant a lot to me had passed away unexpectedly. And I was like shocked because it was unexpected. And she meant a lot because she encouraged me a lot. And one day I was talking to someone outside outside on the porch, and a woman came out of nowhere. I swear, guys, this is a true story. She looked just like Mother Teresa. She was wrapped in some kind of, she had this long gown on and a head wrap like Mother Teresa. She was, um, you can tell she was like in her 80s or so. And I'm looking, because at the time I was at a street that had four corners on it. She didn't drive up in a car, she was just there. And she was asking me about the person who passed away. She actually knew the name of the person and she talked to me for a minute. But this guy who was talking to me had my attention, and I turned to answer a question he asked me. And I swear, and I'm telling the truth, God knows. And I looked again, guys, she was gone. And I'm like, that's impossible. I went down all of the blocks looking for her. She didn't come in a car, she didn't leave in a car. She just disappeared. And I said, where did she go? And the guy I was talking to, he said, I don't know. That's impossible. She couldn't have gone in where she didn't get in the car. She didn't go. And I said, OMG. And the reason why I'm saying this to you guys, because when I watched that episode of The Literary Man and the way he disappeared and etc., I'm like, that's what happened. He didn't have a car. He was just on the road, and back, if you watch the Waltons, they live up in the mountains. Everybody has a car to get around, to get from A to B. And the guy was on the road walking with a briefcase, and he was heavy set guy. And I'm like, where did he go? How could he? So, I know that there are angels and people that God send to put us on the right direction when we feel overwhelmed and we don't know what direction to go in. So I just wanted to say that for a moment because I want to tell my story about this woman, and I've never seen her again. And I said, wow, this is just wow. And I have other stories, concrete stories that I know God is, here and he helps us. So I hope this story helps someone. But anyway, let's get into the topic of discussion today. And it's called Heal and Let Your Light Shine. And healing is never easy. And it's always a lot of pain and etc. And it's more importantly, it's an ongoing process because it's not like you go from A to B and okay, I've healed, it's over. No, you continue to heal things in your life that's caused you traumatic problems, that cause you trauma, um, pain, and, things that we just need to get over. So healing is beneficial for that. And you know what, guys? Um, Let me tell you, one of the worst things to me is when someone wants to bully someone just because a person is on a path to healing. Gossip, lies, and trying to set someone up for failure just because you don't like their light shining. You don't like the fact that they're encouraging and uplifting others to be on a path to heal their pain and to heal their physical and mental health issues so that they can thrive, so that they can be better, so that they can help others. You know, a person or people like this, I cut off immediately, block, cut off, and delete. When I see evidence of this, we don't need to have any ongoing discussion about this, because when I see this time and time again, that you want to bully me or anybody else who's on a path to healing, cut off, block, and delete. Because that those individuals, just think about this, everyone. If those people who are putting that toxicity out there and they putting all that effort and stepping on the accelerator, sorry, stepping on the accelerator to toxicity, if they take all that effort and all of that energy and put it into healing themselves, imagine what kind of person they can be. They will be a force to be reckoned with if they put all of that energy and time into healing themselves and the pain within instead of spreading it to others. And that's why I don't like these things. And I don't sit and have ongoing discussions and arguments about it. I just cut off, block, and delete. Because people, if some people don't want to heal, that's their option. We all have a choice in life to heal or not to heal, to do or not to do. We all have that choice. However, you cannot stop somebody else from doing that. And one thing that bullies don't understand is that they don't do their homework when it comes to certain individuals. Just like back in the day going to school, there was a whole lot of bullies. And, one person wanted to bully this person because they were nerdy, skinny, and they thought, yeah, we can take this person. Yeah, we got this, right? They didn't know that person had a black belt, okay, until they went to come against that person. Know who you're dealing with. Don't judge a book by its cover if you haven't read the pages within and did your research, because you don't know who you're coming for. And people need to stop doing this. And a lot of times these kids grow up to be adult bullies, and it's just the ongoing cycle instead of healing all of this. It's like we all need to heal, and it's nothing wrong with that because we are all imperfect and we all have something, right? And just heal these things. You don't have to be making a public announcement that you're seeing a therapist, you're going to a bereavement group or whatever. Heal these things. And some people, I had a so-called friend a while back who could not even spend time alone. When her family was gone for whatever reason on a trip or whatever, and she had to spend time alone, she hated being by herself. And I couldn't understand that, because if you love yourself, sometimes you need time alone. You need time to be by yourself so that you can regroup, reflect, and just have those moments by yourself to nurture yourself and build yourself up, whether you have a family or not. And that made me realize this person don't even love themselves. So how can they be a friend of me? And it's like, I don't understand that. It's when you start to heal and you start to eventually, feel better. Yes, in the beginning, you're all over the place. There's pain, there's emotion, there's all of that. But as you start to continue to persevere through all of it, you start to feel better. It may take some time. This is true. It may take a lot of time. It took me 3 years, to get from where I was back then up into where I am now. And I'm still healing. I'm still growing, you know. and I'm still staying focused. None of this is easy, people, none of it. But it's worth it at the end, because as you heal, you feel better and you open up your mental capacity to a different perspective and way of seeing things. Because today, things that used to trigger me in a negative, certain things I'm not talking about toxicity, certain things that people may say because I don't understand it, you know, I would be like, oh, but I see things from a different perspective now, you know, and I try to see it in a way, okay, let me try this out and see. It's like going to a restaurant, with a friend, and like, I can't say I don't eat this kind of food or whatever, especially if I've never had it, if I never tried it. So I would try it and see, okay, opening our minds to a different perspective will allow us to see both sides of a situation instead of just this is how it is and that's it. Because there's always a different perspective. As I said a few videos back, when I use algebra, the algebra formula as a example, as they can, there's more than one way to do that formula. As long as we both end up at the same, with the same result, the same answer, then it's okay. And it takes a lot of work to open our minds to see things in a different perspective, you know and I stay in prayer a lot with God. Like, that helped me tremendously. When you're an authentic person, you truly on a path to heal, and you start to feel better and do better, you want to share that with other people. That's why I'm on this channel. And it's authentic. This is not a game or me, trying to get likes or any of that. It's none of that. It's really my personal experiences that I've gone through, that I persevered through, and I have my days where I don't feel like getting up, and depression because I want to talk to my mom or a friend of mine who passed away who I was close to, my dog, and it goes on and on. And now next week we have the holidays, and then just I try now to find things to do to keep myself engaged and busy so that I don't slip into that depression, because it's easy to. The holidays is starting next week and we go right into the new year with it, you know, and people are spending time with their families, going away, traveling. And yeah, I think about my mother, friends, and people I lost even more so this time of the year. But I engage myself in things to keep myself busy. So if I can do it, you guys can do it too, you know? And the plus side of this is, if you have people in your family or friends that you're close to that you can talk to when you feel at your lowest point, that's a plus. I didn't have that because the people who were close to me were gone. Like I said, it's 10 people who passed away. And the people who were there were not really friends. I started to see evidence of that, and I had to cut off, block, and delete. And it took a long time for me to do it because I had to build myself up through therapy, being on uh, line for bereavement groups, talking, and just prayer mostly, and asking God to help me. I'm going to tell you something. If you're really authentic and you're not out here hurting people, setting people up for failure just because you don't like their light because it irritates your demons, and you're truly on a path to healing or helping people, and you go and you ask God to help you and you vow to do this, He's going to be there. No matter what other people are doing or think they're doing, God will come through. I'm telling you, I've seen evidence after evidence, time and time again of it. So stay on this path. Let other people be over here talking or doing whatever. Stay focused and keep going, meaning persevere through it. You're going to have your down days, and then you're going to have your days where you feel good, and when you feel better, you do better. And as you get better and better, as more time go by and you continue to persevere through this, and getting yourself connected with a therapist, a grief therapist, and connected with bereavement groups, you're going to hear stories from other people, how they're getting through this. And, you're going to have a therapist that you can talk to weekly, like I do. to help you through it. And once you start to feel better, you're going to want to be a testimony to other people to help them to feel better as well. And you do better. And when you do better, you start to self love on yourself. No one can take your self love away. And some people, I'm hearing things where people are telling me, other people saying, I'm going to knock you down. I'm going to knock you off of that high horse. This is not being on a high horse. We all are supposed to love ourselves. If you can't love yourself, how are you going to give love to anybody else if you don't even love you? If you can't stand being around yourself, what you're going to give to the next person? It's important that we learn to love ourselves, not be in love with ourselves, but to love ourselves, you know, and that's important. And I had to learn that. And as I did, I start to make positive changes in my life. And it doesn't matter what other people are saying, the lies that they're telling. If people are easy, how do I say this? If people are easy to believe a lie without researching researching behind the lie, and they just believe it just because it's out there, then they need to look at things from a different perspective. Because it's just like judging a book by the title or the cover and you haven't read the pages within. And if that's something to think about, to ponder over. Because there's always going to be people out there who love you, respect you, and then you're going to have a handful of others who don't, because of their jealousy, hate, and envy, because they're not growing. They don't want to heal. And that's okay if they're not ready to do that. But do not stop other people from doing that. And this is why I stay in prayer as well, asking God to help me, so that not only I lift myself up, but I help to lift other people up as well. Especially now during a holiday time, when it's evident that families get together and people who are grieving have lost, a loved one. It's hard. It's not easy. But let's talk about it. This is a no judgment zone here. And we can talk about feelings and things and address them. Even if a person doesn't want to comment, just being here and being uplifted and encouraged is important. So let's continue to do this. Let's continue to share this channel, subscribe, comment, hit the like button, and let's keep it moving, because someone somewhere is alone, hurting and in pain, depression, and isolated. And they need to hear this message to uplift them so that they can persevere through it. That's the message today. Keep it moving. Always, never give up, even though you may have those days, those down days, but you're going to have some up days as well. Thank you all for being here. This is Lisa, always uplifting and encouraging you through it all. And I'll be back tomorrow with a new message. Everyone have a great day, and bye for now. Thank you also for being here. I really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.